Hey, welcome back to Cool Classics. Today we're going to take a look at the life and career of Sigrid Valdis. She played Hilda on Hogan's Heroes. She was born Patricia Olson on September 21st, 1935 in Bakersfield, California. Now, while growing up, she was raised in the Westwood-Brentwood suburbs of Los Angeles and attended private schools, including Marymount High School. As a teen, Sigrid was able to find some work as a model. She even got to do a runway exhibition. She also modeled clothing for stores in their advertisements and catalogs, one of which was the department store Bullock's. After graduating high school, she moved to Europe for a little while to pursue the modeling, but then decided to go to New York City and continue the career there. While there, she began working as a designer, showroom, and runway model when she met and married the businessman and fashion industry executive Georges Gilbert Atier. After the birth of their daughter Melissa, Sigrid started taking classes at Stella Adler's theatrical school, and it wasn't much longer before she got her first role in a movie. It was the 1962 movie Two Tickets to Paris, where she played a young woman, really just kind of in the background, and she was uncredited, but to her this was like, hey, things are happening. After that, she appeared on the Kraft Suspense Theater episode The Jack is High from Season 2, Episode 6. I couldn't find a clear picture or clip. Maybe you can. Then in 1965, she was in the movie Marriage on the Rocks with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. Her character was called Kitty. After that, she appeared on the TV series The Wild Wild West, Season 1, Episode 13, The Night of the Torture Chamber. Check this out.
Amazing.
Call the carriage. The governor will be ready to leave soon. And tell Professor Bolt that the statue of the governor is an excellent likeness.
Was that a freaky scene or what? She was in another episode called The Night the Wizard Shook the Earth. Now later in 1965, she appears on Hogan's Heroes for the first time. This is Season 1, Episode 10 called Top Hat, White Tie, and Bomb Sights. She doesn't play Hilda, she plays the character Gretchen.
Gretchen, my dear, would you care to dance?
I'm sorry, Liebchen. I'm a little tired tonight.
It's been years since I've done any dancing.
I thought you would never ask me.
Thank you.
That was pretty good. Then in 1966, she appeared in the movie Our Man Flint with James Coburn. Right after that, she got the call they need her back on Hogan's Heroes full-time to play Hilda, Colonel Klink's secretary, replacing Cynthia Lynn, who played Helga. And I made a video on Cynthia Lynn, and it's a great companion to this video. You need to check it out when you're done here. So Sigrid took over starting with Season 2, Episode 1, and continued on playing in 43 episodes, and she was really good. Now, right as her popularity started to rise on the show and everything seemed like it was going great, her husband unexpectedly just passed away, which really set her back for a little while. Now, once things settled back down for her and the show went on for a couple more seasons, her and Bob Crane, who plays Colonel Hogan on the show, they actually started to get really close. And he was going through a divorce at the time, and the two of them started dating. Now, as his divorce was finalized and their relationship progressed, the two of them actually got married on October 16th, 1970, on the set of the show. And at the time, this was the first reported actual marriage to be performed on a soundstage. The whole cast and crew were in attendance, and Richard Dawson, who played Newkirk on the show, was actually Bob's best man. And boy, did the media eat this up. They put them on the cover of magazines, and they were the talk of the town for quite a while. Now, when Hogan's Heroes was eventually canceled, the two of them did appear together on a TV show called Tattletales, where celebrity couples team up, and it's kind of like a game show. They appeared in 10 episodes together. But these would be the final appearances of Sigrid on television. She went ahead and retired from acting in order to take care of their children. The couple had a boy and a girl, and she wanted to just focus on raising the family. So with Bob's 3 children from his previous marriage and her daughter from her previous marriage, plus their 2 children, it was a pretty big household at points. In 1977, the 2 of them had a little separation that lasted a couple months, but things returned to normal and everything was good at home. The next summer, June of 1978, Bob had to go out on tour. It was a dinner theater production for a show called Beginner's Luck, and it took him all around the country. Well, he ended up in Scottsdale, Arizona. After his performance that evening, he returned to his motel room, and the next morning he was found dead. He was actually murdered. And when the homicide detectives were investigating everything, they made a few discoveries. And when these discoveries hit the media, it just opened up a big mess for Sigrid. It turns out that after some of these performances, Bob would invite some women back to his motel room, and he would end up cheating on his wife. And he was taking pictures with them, and there was a video camera, and it turned into a whole big deal. Now, the media went wild with this. It was an unsolved murder. There was a lot of speculation going on, and they were stalking and harassing Sigrid. She couldn't get any peace. So she went on ABC's 2020, and she went ahead and talked about this. She said, yes, I had found out about this. I forgave him, and then we got to working on our marriage, and it was a point of contention at one point, but I grew to just accept it because it was never brought up. It was out of sight and never around us, and Bob really was a one-woman man. He was with the family, we were here, and everything was normal. When he went on these trips, if a woman and him did something, I don't know, I didn't want to know. And later on, his son says this as an adult, that my father may have had his second secret life that we didn't know about, but we really didn't know about it because when he was at home, he was a great father. He said there was no drinking, there was no drugs, there was no fight. It was a loving household and everything seemed normal. It's just a shame. Now, the media never did let up on Sigrid, and it made living there a horrible experience. So in 1980, she ended up taking the whole family and moving to Seattle. But despite moving away, not speaking about it in public, or granting any interviews, the media would still contact her on a regular basis trying to get information, and this was always giving her like nervousness and an unsettled feeling. So when the movie Autofocus was being filmed in 2002, which is about Bob Crane and this whole story, it really started to shake her up and worry her because there was more media coming around. The people that were making the movie were wanting information, and she's like, please don't do this. And they're like, we're doing it anyway. And it drove her to be hospitalized a few times with stress-related illnesses like malnutrition. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep. She was just worrying about all of this was coming back again, and it never really left. It would go away for a while, but then it'd come back. Somebody come by wanting to do an investigation again, and then the movie, it was really hard on her. Now, sadly, a couple years later, she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she went ahead and moved back to California so that she could kind of prepare for her passing. And on October 14th, 2007, she passed away at age 72. At her request, upon her death, Bob's remains were exhumed from the personal cemetery plot in Los Angeles, and the two were then buried together at Westwood Memorial Park. Man, this was a hard video for me to make. I love everyone who played on Hogan's Heroes. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to want to watch my Cynthia Lynn video next. I'm making videos for everyone who's played on the show, so don't forget to subscribe, stick around, cool classics.